I see what's happening.
You're bored. You want a little attention.
Perfectly understandable. I'm here for you. I'll give you very special attention.
Hello and welcome back to the horror of video games. Today I'm talking about movement speed in horror games. Now, I recently played a game called White Knight and also another game called Among the Sleep. Previous to this, I've played other games like Dead Space, where your character moves very, very slowly when they're just walking, and for me this causes me a number of problems. The first of which is the fact that if your character is moving too slowly, I may be the only one who feels like this, but if your character is moving too slowly, it makes me feel sick, it makes me feel nauseous, that I'm not moving as fast as I think I should be moving. Now, I found I was profoundly sick when I was playing Dead Space, actually, because of the slow, tankish-like movement speed of that game, and I couldn't play it, for long stretches of time, because it just made me feel sick. So I just wonder why games developers make the protagonists walk so slowly. It's almost painful to play these games. And of course in Among the Sleep you're playing as a toddler, you're crawling around the place, and the default walking speed or crawling speed in that game is so slow. I mean, I felt so sick playing this game. And also, the more important point is the fact that it's just not realistic. So, for example, if I'm in a traumatic scenario and I have to run away from something, I would be running as fast as humanly possible away from that traumatic event, whatever the danger might be. It could be a fire or etc. In a real-world trauma scenario, you would be running away as fast as you could, really. And I think in horror games, which almost limits your movement speed, it's like going against your instinctive reaction to run away as fast as possible. And I think this is a real problem. And the final problem with this is the fact that it's just plain frustrating, really, if your movement speed is so slow. I mean, I'm just trying to think of other games like Fatal Frame as well. You're walking so slowly in that game as well. And it's unnecessary. Surely your protagonist in horror games should be moving faster. For example, in Left 4 Dead, your movement speed is quite good, really. You can actually run away from things, and once again, that's a realistic representation of a traumatic scenario. You would be trying to run away as fast as possible. If your character is moving excessively slow, it just goes against your instinctive reaction to run away from stuff, which is kind of the point in horror games, because you'd explore the world, you'd see something, a monster appears, and you would want to run as fast as possible. This is instinctive human behavior, but when you have games which limit your movement speed, it's going against human behavior, which I think is a real problem with horror games. And also, the difference between walking speed and running speed in most games is unrealistic. For example, walking speed and running speed are only two different types of speed, whereas in real life, when you're picking up a kind of sprint speed, you would go gradually faster and then gradually slower, which would kind of suggest you would need something like a realistic running mechanic. You'd need a kind of stamina bar, which is what they did in Stalker, but however, the way it's implemented, the stamina system in Stalker was inherently flawed because, like I said in the believability video, you can carry mountains of stuff in Stalker and still walk around, and it was trying to be realistic but failed in doing so. What I'd like to see in horror games is as you start to run away from something, you really do pick up speed. So the zombie appears, the monster appears, and you start running, and then I think the feeling of movement would be fantastic. So you'd get gradually faster as you pick up pace, and you'd be running at your best for a couple of seconds and then you'd slow down. And I think this would introduce quite a lot of drama into a horror game, because how long will your sprint last? How long have you got until you get tired and you have to start walking again to recover your stamina? This could be a really interesting game mechanic done correctly, because for example, maybe if you had to run uphill or downhill, that would affect your running speed. But then this raises the question, would it be fun though? Would that be fun, running out of energy while you run up a hill and a zombie's trying to chase you uphill? And I'm not sure whether that would be fun or not, but I think a more realistic horror game, in my opinion, is a more successful horror game. Okay, so that's the end of the video. Hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe. You can tweet me at the Horror of VG. I'll see you next time.